Hello everybody, I hope that you are having a nice weekend. Bitcoin is really not doing much because it's the weekend and we also have the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. So the most likely thing is that we see Bitcoin consolidating and ranging in this zone until the FOMC meeting, okay? So as I promised you guys, I think it's time to chart some altcoins. And the first one is going to be Chainlink because I think the chart is looking very interesting. So if you guys would like me to chart any other altcoin, please let me know in the comments some altcoins that you would like me to chart for you. Now, you have to keep in mind that this video is going to be a bit different because we're going to go with the mindset of an investor that wants to buy cheap and sell high or expensive in higher time frame, okay? So it's kind of like a preparation for the next bull market. That's what you have to keep in mind, okay? We're going to stick to high time frame, daily, weekly, monthly time frame. And we're going to look for zones of interest in the chart where you could see the price of Chainlink heading to, okay? So the first thing to point out in this chart is that we've been ranging here for a year, okay? We started in this range the 9th of May of 22. So now it's basically 1 year of ranging here. That it seems that it's going to stay here forever, but it will not. At some point will break out, okay? So let's mark this range, okay? I would say that this is my low. Let me check. And this should be my high around here. And you can see that, well, this is the middle of the range, okay? Let me mark it for you better. Okay, that will be the middle of the range. And you can see that it's been very easy to trade. It's basically buy in this zone and then sell in this zone, okay? Simple. You can see price goes again to the bottom of the range, it bounces, and here you can get 75%. Well, if you want to sell in the middle of the range to be safe, that's a 39%. Happens again here. Well, from the top you could go short, and that's another 20%. We go again to the top, 20% in this zone, goes to the bottom again, and you have two opportunities to buy, 33%, and here we have another 50%, okay? So it's been pretty easy to trade this so far. Basically, buy below the middle of the range and sell at the top of the range. Simple as that. So this has been a very nice zone for swing traders especially, okay? For trading this range. Now, if you're an investor and you just want to buy and hold, what are the good zones to buy? Well, I think it's obvious that anything below the middle of the range, so anything in this zone here, is a good buy because I think we are now around 90% down from at the highest. Let me check. Okay. 90%, yes, we're 90% down from the top. So if you are an investor and you believe in the project, then this zone here, it's a good zone to buy. But let's go a step forwards and let's see if we could buy cheaper. We're still in the weekly time frame. And I think, in my opinion, that basically what Chainlink is doing here is retracing and recovering some imbalances from that bull run in 2020, okay? You can see this week got retraced, another week, retrace, week, retrace. And I think now the next zone is this imbalance, this liquidity pool, okay? And you can see this large green candle that's already been retraced, okay? Let me mark it for you. Yeah, you can see that it's already, I think I would say a 50% of it has already been retraced, but we still have the other 50%, that is this zone over here. What about if Chainlink wants to finish this zone, okay, and make the move? You know, you would also sweep the lows from the range, you would have a beautiful deviation, and then if it bounce hard, we could see breaking out from the top of the range. So that's a plan that I have in mind, okay? And trust me, at the moment, I don't see Chainlink going lower than this. It might, it might go all the way to this one over here. Because yes, we have one more here. Check this one. That's around between $3 and $2. Do I think it's gonna go there? I don't see that happening, to be honest, because we've been ranging here for a year. Bitcoin dumped lower to 15K. A Chainlink didn't lose that low, which is very interesting. But now, well, I'm gonna show you first that chart with a correlation with Bitcoin, because Chainlink seems to do pretty good in bear markets, and this is not the first time. And also the Bitcoin dominance. Alright, check this with me. The orange line is Bitcoin price action in the weekly time frame, okay? Let me remove this. As you can see that here, we have a low that we were holding, okay? Same as Link, we have a low here that we were holding. But then Bitcoin here lost that low, okay? This was the FTX dump, okay? Lost that low and went to 15K. Now check what Link did. Link, it was in this zone, obviously dumped to following Bitcoin, but didn't lose that low. So that's interesting, and that only shows that Chainlink does pretty good in bear markets, because if it was a shitcoin or a weak asset, it would just do with Bitcoin and probably even lower, like the rest of altcoins. So that's something pretty interesting. If we check what happened previously in the history of Link, you're gonna see something very similar, okay? That happened right before this massive impulsive move, okay? This is a 1100% move. This is insane, okay? So what happened here, if you notice, you can see that Bitcoin in this zone, made a new low. Check this first. Okay, we have a low for Link here. Let me mark it better with this, so it's a straight line. We have a low for Chainlink, a low for Bitcoin. Then Bitcoin dumps lower. You can see that Chainlink follows, but it doesn't loses the low. In fact, it makes a higher low. So that's, it's happened before, and then look at what happened after. A bit of consolidation, Bitcoin recovered in that time, and then Bitcoin shoot up, and Chainlink did the same. So keep that in mind, because that's a bit of confluence to the story that maybe we've already seen the bottom for Link. And if it's not the bottom, I don't think it's going to be further from this. So what I want to say with this, of course it's not financial advice, but I think that this zone over here, it's a good zone for holders to buy. And also, I don't think it's going to get to this, $2. I don't see that happening, to be honest. Who knows? I'm going to delete it from the chart for now, but who knows, okay? And then we have this zone that I find very interesting. That is between $5.25 and $4.72. Okay, that zone, it seems very interesting. Also, if we go to the daily time frame, okay, let me check this. Okay, so you can see that in this zone, it could be retested as support. Let me check this. Okay, that would be my high. Yeah, I would say that this was a resistance back in time. You can see that here it got rejected, and then, tested as resistance, sell off, massive sell off. That was the COVID dump, by the way. And then it comes again here, another sell off. And then it takes time to work around it, but then finally it breaks out, okay? And if you notice in this zone, pretty much fits with this liquidity pool that we've marked, okay? The blue zone. And that's around 481. So we might see Chainlink going here. If it goes here, again, this is not financial advice, but yes, I'll be becoming an investor probably and put my money there, a 481 zone. In this blue zone, this would be a great zone to buy Chainlink, in my opinion. So after I went through, the potential buy zones for Chainlink, that my personal opinion, are good, okay? And I repeat, it's not financial advice. You guys do what you want. If you want to buy now or never buy, that's up to you. But that's just my opinion. In my opinion, it would be, the bottom of the range and this liquidity pool that matches with this previous high, that hasn't been tested as support yet, around 480. But now the question is, can Chainlink go there again? Can Chainlink go to, to $6, to $5.25? Can it go to 480? I'll start with the EMAs, okay? In high time frame, I like the 50 EMA, that you can see that it was tested as resistance, and then we saw a big drop here of, I think this was a 20%, yeah, 20% drop, okay? So that's important. If we go to the monthly time frame, the same thing happening. Look how many rejections we're getting at the 50 EMA. So that's clearly a resistance, okay? I would mark, if I was you, the 50 EMA in your chart for Chainlink, okay? Let's go again to the weekly time frame. Let's see what happens in the daily. In the daily, we are also below it, okay? So right now it's not looking great, but who knows? Things can change very quickly. But at the moment, as long as you are below the EMAs, it's gonna push you down, in principle. Now, there's another EMA that I like. That's the 20 EMA. I like this in high time frame. And you can see that in the weekly, previously it got rejected a lot of times. Here, happened here too, here again, here. It happened 4 times. And then here we had a very nice zone that we were working out how to get above the 20 EMA. And we did, but it got never tested as support successful, okay? So then we had a problem. Now we just lost the 20 EMA. This is the weekly time frame. The weekly candlestick closes tomorrow, okay? And the monthly time frame too. So, I mean, the monthly time frame, nothing we can do about it because it's clearly below the EMAs. But the weekly time frame, if we close below the 20 EMA again, like for example as it is now, in principle, it should be pushing us lower, okay? You could be seeing something like this. So that's the first thing telling me that yes, we could see again lower price. You could still see $6, $6.30, $6.40. Okay, you know, 480 is still far away. We'll see what happens. But that's what I want to take you to the Bitcoin dominance chart. Let's have a look. The Bitcoin dominance chart is a chart that it's quite misunderstood, I think, for what I see in Twitter. Because people are only looking at this zone, okay? That is, we've been in this zone for 2 years. So when we get to these zones, okay, in the chart, let me put a resistance line. When we get to these zones, you see traders calling for an alt season. And let me tell you, this is not an alt season. This is not an alt season. This is not an alt season. These are only rallies. Because this is, you know, let me show you the bigger picture. Okay, let me zoom out. Okay, where are the lows? This is an alt season. This is an alt season. You know, this is the 2020, 2021 alt season. You can say that was an alt season, that everything was pumping. You know, you could see your portfolio doubling every day almost. It was crazy. But these are not alt seasons. These are only rallies. That being said, let's go back to this zone. We can see that we are in a big range here. We've been ranging here for 2 years. Okay, this would be my low. And that would be my high. Now, there are 2 potential scenarios that might play out in here, okay? The first one is that we stay in this range, like we've been for the past 2 years, and that we fall again to the bottom of the range. That could be the first scenario. But I gotta admit that this candlestick is looking pretty good. Look at this. We're having a candle close with the candle body above the resistance, which is pretty good. I mean, still we have here to clean this one. Not gonna lie. It's not everything happy at the moment because we still have this resistance that we corrected here. Okay. This blue line. But, you know, we have never done this, you know, above this white line having a candle body closing. So what about if we see the Bitcoin dominance starting to break out to the upside? Okay. Imagine if we see something like this happening. Okay. Now, in the monthly time frame, that's the 50 EMA. Could that happen? Tell me why not. Tell me why we couldn't see that happening, okay? And would that be bad for altcoins? Look, let me show you this chart. This is cycle, okay? I'm sure you've seen this image many times before. But basically, you can see here that with the Bitcoin dominant increases, okay, it doesn't matter what Bitcoin does. Alts either are gonna continue accumulating, you know, it's quite stable price action, or decreasing fast. So it's not good for altcoins if the Bitcoin dominance goes up. Simple as that. Now, if the Bitcoin dominance decreases, that's gonna be good for altcoins, no matter what Bitcoin does, in principle. Because in principle, the altcoins is gonna be stable, or are gonna increase, or are gonna increase fast, which would be an alt season, okay? So keep that in mind. And you can see that obviously this video, my channel is not promoted by any coin. So if I was promoted by Chainlink, I would tell you, yes, we're gonna go to the moon next month. But I want to keep it realistic, okay? I want to keep your feet in the ground. There might be some pain still ahead. So get ready for that. Obviously, you know, you could always DCA to not miss the move. You could already start to buy at the bottom of the range. But I have very clear that I have a plan. First, I want to see how the Bitcoin dominance goes. But if we start to see something like this, then we're going to see Link going lower. Okay, and then yes, if that happens, and Bitcoin also, look, Bitcoin dominance increases, Bitcoin decreases. This could be, for example, like a retest of the 25k zone that many analysts are calling for. If they are right, which they usually aren't, but if they are right this time and Bitcoin starts to decrease and they go to the 25k zone, then the altcoins are going to decrease fast. We're going to see a big dump. And then is when you could see 481 get intact. So that being said, okay, it's difficult to tell where Chainlink could go to the upside. But I mean, if we have been accumulating for a year, obviously the breakout is going to be quite intense. And we're going to start to expect some higher prices. Where to? Well, we're going to start to notice the imbalances. We have this one, for example, here, that the 13 zone, and I'm noticing that I think it matches with, yeah, it matches with this week over here, okay? So that's pretty interesting. That's the first zone where we could be taking profits. This is a different one. Look, another liquidity pool. This is around 18, 15. And then, of course, we have this big boy over here, this massive imbalance between 20 and 25. So that's pretty much all of it, guys. But before I close the video, I want to repeat that, this is not financial advice, it's my personal opinion, my own analysis. You might have a different one, and it may be different from mine, and that's the beautiful thing about charting, that we might have different opinions. But I think it's always good to be prepared for both scenarios. This might shoot up from here, or it might drop lower to 480, or again to range lows again. Why not? You must be prepared for both scenarios. That's the only way to trade. That's the only way to stay in the game. So that's why I think you should also keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and also in the 50 weekly EMA. Sorry, in the 50-20 EMA. Let's see how this week closes. If it closes below it, we'll be favoring lower prices in the short term at least. But if it closes above it, then we're going to start to see some kind of consolidation again between the 20 and the 50. And then maybe the 20 starts to point upwards and the 50 crosses. And then we can start to see something like this, okay? But for now, it's impossible to tell. We must only be prepared for both scenarios. And guys, at least I hope that entertained you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.